Hey guys, Kevin here with Kevin's Way Works. So in this video, I'm going to show you guys how to install a little Bluetooth device onto your battery so you can monitor it remotely. So stay tuned and I'll show you guys how to do this. Okay guys, well, 96 degrees out, end of July, 41% humidity. Doesn't feel too bad as long as there's a breeze. But there is no breeze, so it is toasty out here. But the good thing is, it's only 41% humidity. So we're going to get going on this. This is a 12-volt battery monitor. Runs on low-energy Bluetooth, and it's something you just hook right up to your battery. So let's go ahead, get this guy opened, and we'll get it installed. Alright guys, so if you notice I sound a little funny, it's because I have a nice little cold going in the middle of the summer. It is always fun to get a cold in the summer, I'll tell you what. A little bit of sarcasm there, as you can tell. Anyway, I feel okay, I just sound funny. So let's go ahead and get this guy open, and we'll see what it looks like. So, there you go. Let's take it out of its little bubble wrap. There it is. So, I don't know how you pronounce that. Ansel. A-N-C-E-L. This is a BM300. They have a newer version called the BM300 Pro. I think it does a little bit more internally. It may store different data, or it may calculate different data that it then presents to the app. I don't know. I didn't get one because I am familiar with the 300s. I know they work with the Home Assistant software that I use for my home monitoring and automation. So I figured I'd go ahead and get this. I didn't want to get the Pro and not have it work. So that's what we have down here. It has a barcode, and basically that's just your MAC address for this device. And this is what helps it determine which device it is within the app, because basically it's talking over Bluetooth protocol, which is going to use that address. I don't know if it's called a MAC address, but it is a kind of the same format as a MAC address for a network adapter. But anyway, that's this unique identifier. So if you have multiples of these, the app can actually read multiples. And we can actually read multiples through Home Assistant if you're going to go that route. So let's go ahead and get this set up on the battery, get it installed, and then after that's done, I'll go through how to monitor it either with the app that you can get from the store, and you probably can just scan this little code in the app stores, Google Play or Apple's App Store, and then you can get the app if you want to go that route. So let's go ahead and get that installed. Here we go. Alright guys, so this is a 2002 Dodge Ram 1500. It doesn't really matter. This is going to be the same for any vehicle that has a 12-volt battery that you want to monitor. So we have our positive terminal here, and we have our negative terminal here. What you want to do is find somewhere where you can fit these. Hold on, I got to get it open. Find somewhere where these connectors will fit on this battery. They'll fit right here just perfectly. So we're going to go ahead and, obviously that one goes over here, but we're going to mount them to those terminals right there. So just find the best place on your vehicle that is in line with the battery. You want to be on the battery side, or else if you're on the other side where you're through the fuse box, you may not actually get any readings. And if you do get any readings, you may not get the right readings. So let's go ahead and unscrew these. Now mine is not a standard bolt over here, because whoever worked on it when I did a recall stripped the bolt all to crap, and I had to replace it. So this is actually a stainless steel bolt. I have to remove this just enough to be able to slide this under here, you don't have to remove them all the way, because they were kind enough to give you these little ends. So these just slide right in. And so I'm going to just leave this battery monitor just sitting on top of the battery itself. I'm probably not even going to strap it to anything. It's just going to sit there, which is how I typically do it. So we're just going to take this and we're going to slip it in. Actually, I might put it underneath, like so. Yeah, we're going to keep it above it. We're just going to keep it above it. So we're going to put that one in there like that. Let me go ahead and just get that tightened up some. Tighten that just enough so it's snug and it doesn't move on the terminal. You don't want to over tighten them. And guys, I lost the little 10mm. I know I had it. Did I put it back in the box? I did. Why would I do that? Why would I do that? Oh my goodness. Can I get an oh my goodness? You might be able to put it on this side. This one has a the little square head on it, so it can't spin. But I think it actually would fit on that side if you, for some reason, couldn't get it on this side over here. But you could put it over there. But this one I'm going to put over here. You can bend these. There's enough movement, and they're soft enough to be able to bend them. So I didn't open that one up enough. It's a little tight. So let's get that in there. Right there should be fine. If you're concerned about it being bent like that, you can mount it a different way. I mean, you can mount it facing up, but I just wanted it mounted like that. We'll go ahead and tighten this one back down. Try to do it left-handed. All right, that should be good. That should be good and tight. And there it is. That's actually all you guys need to do. It is now online and active. I don't know, guys. You think I should zip tie it to that? I'm going to zip tie it to that. Make sure you record the identifier on your sticker. I mean, you can see them when you open the app. It'll detect them automatically, and you'll see the code. But if you have multiples of them, then you're going to want to record that. And also, in my previous video about the charger that I have installed on here, I mentioned how these have a vulnerability in them. And I mean, it's really not that big of a deal, but the vulnerability is once the app hooks onto this particular device, it keeps hold of it, and so no other devices can access it. So let's say your neighbor has the same type of monitor and his phone hooks up to your battery. He's going to see your battery's information, but you're not going to be able to because his phone basically has a hold of it. That is an issue. I mean, if you're driving down the road and somebody on the road has one and you want to check your voltage for some reason, you could potentially have that same issue. Or you could get locked onto your neighbors. So, not a major vulnerability issue, but it is an issue. Another issue I want to talk about with these is the software. The software captures, the software that runs on the app stores. Now, I don't know about the Android. I don't know about the Apple Store, but I know that the one that's in the Google Store does this. It collects all sorts of information. So it collects your GPS coordinates, and I believe it collects a whole bunch of other information from your device. So because of that, I no longer use the app. I use my Home Assistant to monitor it. My Home Assistant does not do any of that. It just pulls the reading from the device. So that is an issue. If you're concerned about privacy, be aware of that. So anyhow, let's go get a zip tie. Let's get that zip tied onto there so it can't go anywhere. I don't know if this zip tie is long enough. Yeah, it's plenty long enough. Although, I don't know if this is my good zip ties. I think this might be one of the El Cheapos. But we'll give it a try here. If it ends up breaking at some point in the future, we will redo it. All right, let me get something to pull that and then cut it. Okay, just have some needle nose to grip it better. I'm trying to, well, that's not, I think we got a bad zip tie. I felt it clip and then slip. Yeah, we got a bad zip tie. Let me get another zip tie. Or we won't, because I don't know where the bin is. The bin with the zip ties is missing. I found it. It was hiding. But still, it doesn't have the... Yeah, it does. There. It has the high quality ones. Well, I shouldn't say high quality. They're ones that I know are better quality because they're UV resistant. And I have these not only in my vehicle that have been there for like 15 years. I have them outside holding up some outdoor string lights. They've been on there for 10 years and they are still nice and solid and have never had any issues. So let's go ahead and just leave that like that. Make sure you have red to red, black to black. If you don't, I don't know what will happen. You might have burned up the device. We'll go ahead and clip this. And that's it. It is now assembled to the vehicle. The next step, I'll show you how to use the Android app because I only have Android devices. Now they're going to know my home address and they're going to know everything else that this app collects. But what are they going to do with it? All the information they're going to collect is already public knowledge. What I don't want them to know is all my GPS coordinates everywhere I go. I mean, still, it's not like they're going to do much with it, but you never know. You never know. All right, I'm just going to close the hood because at this point, we don't need the hood open anymore. So let's go ahead and get this hood closed. Here we go. Make sure you don't have any tools left. All my tools. Actually, I'm missing the 11 millimeter I dropped onto the ground is underneath the vehicle. So I'm going to fish that back out here in a second. So stay tuned and we will do the application part next. Okay guys, so let's go ahead and give this a try. What I have done here is I have the Google Play Store open. I have selected the BM2 app. I'm going to hit install. Alright, now that that's installed, let's go ahead and open it up and see what it asks for. Allow to send notifications? Sure. Welcome to Battery Monitor app. Agree to the term. Let's just agree. Location permitted required. Location permissions required. We'll say while using the app. If you want to have full-time location access, then you probably want to do all the time. But we're going to do only with the app because I'm just using this to show you how it works. App needs Bluetooth scan to connect. Hit OK. Let's see. Let's say yes, allow. And let's see what it says now. Now, at some point they added this option, whether it's a regular lead acid battery or an AGM. I don't know if this then pushes out updated firmware or not. I do know that when I've opened the app in the past, it has pushed firmware out. And so I don't know, but I'm going to just choose regular lead acid. And probably what that really does is it determines the percentage that it shows on the screen. So we're going to keep it at that because that's actually what is in this vehicle. And as you can see, this one actually does have low power, which I did expect because it's been sitting for so long, and I've only started it a couple times to just move it around in the driveway. That's what you're going to see, and I'm not going to go through all the settings because it's really not helpful for you to see what I set it to, but you can go through the little setting icon up there in the top right, and you can set your settings. So basically you can set it to alert you. I don't know if they've updated the app. In the past it only alerted you through your phone. It didn't send email alerts or anything like that. Now if you're away from your vehicle battery monitor will store data for an extended period of time. If you check the website, check the documentation for the actual device that you're using, it will tell you how long it will collect data for before it starts wiping out old data. So it does cache, it does have memory internally to cache. So anyway, that is how you install that app. I'm not going to use this app, so I'm going to go ahead and remove it. But I just wanted to show you how it works. So this also has other features at the bottom there. You can see you can do a crank test, you can do a charging test, and it gives you instructions as to what to do once you tap each one of those. I'm not going to do it because I don't have the keys on me for this vehicle. And we're not really reviewing the app and showing the features of the app. I'm showing you the benefits of using this battery monitor itself. Okay guys, I know I said I wasn't going to go into details on this app, but I figured I'd show you that it actually is working with my truck. So I'm in my truck, I just started it up, and as you can see we have that spike up to 13.6 volts, which is my alternator charging the battery. So this is going to check and detect any voltage in that line, and so since it's being charged by the alternator, it's seeing the alternator voltage really. But anyway, that's what we have there. Let me go see what it says under cranking test. So as you can see, we had pretty low crank voltage, and that's just because this car has been sitting for a long time. When I unlocked the car, just unlocking it with the key, the voltage dropped to 12.09. Let me see how you get out of this. Let me go back to, I think if you turn it sideways, I thought if you turned it sideways you got, there we go. Well, you can't turn, I guess you gotta tap that button. So you can actually go back to historic data, so you can see voltage over time, and it does store for a long time. I thought it went more than 15 days, but I guess it doesn't. But once we get this in the Home Assistant, you can keep it as long as you want. So let's go back. For charging test, you can see when I started the car, I actually did do a charging test, and that's the results. It is a little abnormal because the battery's low. Crank test, I don't know if that's automatic. I didn't actually do anything for that. It just automatically shows what you have there. I don't know what trip. Oh, so trip knows when you turn the car on and off. Just kind of deduces based on how the voltages change whether you actually took a trip or not. And so it actually does keep track of trips pretty well. Let's click on the icon up here. Now, there are other battery monitor apps that work with these devices, and the newer app, I think it might be called BM6, should work with this device. There are other ones I have used because they give you better ability to like export data, and that actually might be BM6 that does that. But this one I don't think exports data directly. You have to use one of the other apps. This is going to show you any devices that it sees. It doesn't see my other devices because they're attached to the ESP Home ESP32. So they are not in this list. If I was to stop monitoring them with that, they would then show up in my list here. You can show, like I said, you can do your daily notifications, your abnormal cranking notification, your power alarms. You can do a firmware update. I'm not going to touch the firmware on this because I just don't know if they have updated the firmware on these to lock out the ability to read them. You know, if they ever change the way it's encrypted, then you won't be able to read the data. But there's always somebody smart who's going to come along and decipher the new encryption algorithm they have set up. But there are devices that do the same thing that aren't encrypted at all, so you can easily read the data. So that's all the settings. I just wanted to show you that. So now I'm going to turn my truck off, and you'll see the voltage drop back down. All right, guys, I'm going to turn it off. You're going to see the voltage go down to probably 12.3-ish, 12.4-ish. There it goes. So it's going to take a little while, but it's going to drop. And it'll probably settle, like I said, 12.4, 12.3 or so is what it's going to settle at. So let's go ahead and get you over into the Home Assistant software, and I'll show you how we set it up there. I'm going to go ahead and call this part 1 of this video because the Home Assistant integration piece ended up being a lot longer than I expected. So there will be a part 2 that'll include how to integrate this into Home Assistant. So I hope this part of the video was helpful, and I want to thank you guys for watching. Kevin's Way Works.